Lots going on this week. I got water in the water tank, so we have running water in the teeny home. I got the brakes working on the truckster. I spent a few days with my wife working to build this mold. This is 3 of 11 for the courtyard in Detroit. I put down a floor in the teeny home, and those shadows are exaggerated. And I started putting the posts for the front deck of the teeny home, but I have terrible video, not enough to make it worthwhile to start a video on anything but this column. I was given 4 10-foot redwood columns. I plan on using them for the front porch of the teeny house. I don't know if I need all 10 feet, but they're 6x6 and they're solid redwood. But this one has issues. I don't know why or what caused it. Obviously water sat here for a long time, so I'm gonna patch this one up somehow, and I'm gonna use these columns. Okay, here we go. I got a guide to run the router against. I'm just gonna kind of freehand this slope, and I don't know if I can go deep enough to use that entire board, but I'm gonna go as deep as I can. So I cut a shallow cut, and then a deeper cut, and then a deeper cut, and a deeper cut, and I'll finish that off with a chisel. I don't have my GoPro, so you have to forego the action. Okay, so it kind of changed my plan up a little bit. I added a board here because the router wanted to rock once I cut out a big hunk, and that solved that. And then this is as deep as my router will plunge with that short fat bit, so I'm okay with that because I'm into real good wood. And apparently there was a huge knot in here. You can kind of see it. You can kind of see the crack. It probably cracked and moved and let the paint fail and probably instigated this rot, because it's a big old knot and it goes all the way through. So I'm going to trim up this to glue the first board in, and then I'll probably rotate it 90 degrees and cut another one, and then glue both of these boards at the same time. So got fittage on the first little patch. It's going to go in here and be glued. Now I'm going to cut this out for this piece of mahogany to set in there, and I'm going to glue it. This is actually a piece of the bottom of my first wooden boat. I replaced a lot of planks. This little piece is pretty good though. So when the router bit touches this line, this is the outside of the base, so I just need to clamp a straight edge 90 degrees here and a straight edge 90 degrees there, and just remove everything I can remove. Be easy, piece of cake. So I got my 2 pieces ready to glue. I got it cut on the table saw to rough shape. I'm going to mix up some thickened epoxy and clamp it, and we'll be done for the day. And this side's done. This side's going to be a little more of a patch. This side just needs a long skinny one because that's where that knot went through. And I'm not sure about the other side, but it'll be fine for use intended. It'll be a tin roof. There won't be much load on it. Don't get excited. It's got to hold up a screen porch, and that's it. Okay, side one all glued up. I'll take the clamps off tomorrow. I'll be able to do it. Sooner or later, I'll take off the clamps and clean this side up and flip it. We'll work on this side. Okay, these 2 patches are ready for glue. And this one goes down a lot more with a hammer. Or well, I can hammer it down, but I won't be able to get it out, so I'm leaving it loose until I get some epoxy in there. One more day we should finish this middle part and a little spot on the opposite side. Okay, side 2 before the power planter. Okay, I got my little guide set up. I'm gonna route this middle out and set a board in it and glue it. And that'll be it for today, because the other one's on the opposite side, so I can't glue both sides at one time. Or I'm not gonna glue both sides at one time. Last patch. This one's really superficial. I probably could have filled the hole up with epoxy, but I cut a little plug, and I'm just going to use yellow glue so I can keep on working. I don't have to wait for cure time. I'll just hammer it in there and be able to sand it down. One advantage of using the yellow wood glues is you make a patch, and as long as it's snug, you put glue on it, hammer it in, and it's done. I planed it right away. So we're going to get the sander out and square these edges up, and I got to get my router and restore that bevel. One more little patch. This was not a rotten spot. This is where it damaged. It looked like somebody pried on it with a crowbar or something and broke the corner off. And I probably could have just filled it with some epoxy filler, but I had the router out. So I just went ahead and routed out the corner and stuck a piece on there. And we got some yellow glue on it. I'll have to give it about maybe an hour and then I can finish this off. Well, I have saved a very nice 6x6 solid redwood column. It'll match the other 3 that I have that came from the same place, but they didn't have the rot problem. This one did. And came out pretty good. Now, is this the only way to patch a rotten spot in a column? Absolutely not. Is this the best way? Who knows? Is this the strongest way? Probably not. But for me, it's perfect. I'm not waiting on the column, so the time it took didn't make any difference. I have lots of other projects, so spending 40 minutes late in the afternoon and routing out a groove and gluing in a piece and then having to wait for the next day for the glue to dry was not an issue. And I have basically an unlimited supply of these little boards to patch with. So for me, it was the best way. And it's not going to give me any trouble. It's good. I'm just not going to, I'm going to keep the bottom. I got to cut it because the bottom's kind of punky. I'm going to keep the bottom off of the dirt. And it'll last my lifetime, that's for sure.